So we covered positive exponents, we've covered negative exponents, we've covered zero. The last thing we have to talk about are fractions or decimals, and they're kind of both, right? You know anything about fractions, like 1/2, that's a decimal, right? That's 0.5. And that's true for every, fraction. You could write it as a decimal. That's the point. So what happens if I have fractions as exponents? Should I be alarmed? And no, you just treat them like how you would any other number, right? So here's like a more advanced problem to kind of wrap things up a little bit, right? So it gives you the statement, and that's if it's true. It is true, we got to explain why. So here we have x to the power 1/4 times x to the power 1/8 times x to the power 1/4 equals x. Okay, so there's two things I want to get started with. Here I see x, right? If x doesn't have an exponent written, the exponent's not 0, the exponent's actually 1. You remember for the reasons that we talked about before, right? Anything to the power 0 is 1, so it can't be 0. It has to be x to the power 1. That's the first, kind of common exponent there. So if this were to be a true statement, that means I could take the rules of exponents and say when I multiply bases, we add the exponents, right? So x to the power 1/4, I need to add all these together, plus 1/8 plus 1/4. And that should be equal to x to the power 1, or at least that's what we're trying to figure out, right? This is still a mystery to us. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't really do this off the top of my head, so I'm gonna rely on a calculator. Ready? At this point, maybe I've probably shown you Desmos, but it is a free calculator, free beautiful math. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the math type here, and I'm gonna do 1 divided by 4. And look, it made it a fraction. And then I'm going to add, notice how I hit this like arrow key, right? So then I'm going to add 1 divided by 8. Okay, and look, the cursor, the blinking cursor is still in the denominator. So then I'm going to add, the last one is 1/4, so 1 divided by 4. Okay, and this is equal to 0.625. Okay, so going back here, what this is equal to, this chunk right here, want that, want the highlighter, what this chunk is equal to is 0.625, right? So we want to ask the question, is x to the power 0.625 equal to x to the power 1? Well, is 0.625 1? No. So I'm going to say this is not true. And why is it not true? Because 0.625 is not equal to 1. So there you have it. Fractions and decimals are just like any other numbers. They just look a little bit more scary, but we have no reason to be afraid of them.